What's going on, everybody? Tyler here. Thank you again for showing up for another video. I promised I was going to bring you a video every week, and here I am with yet another one. I was thinking to myself, what do people want to see? I've been doing a little bit of fly fishing here and there, but I haven't been able to capture a lot when it comes to something that you guys would want to watch here on the channel. But our season just opened for trout last Thursday. So that being said, I'm hoping I can still get some content in there. Megan wants to learn how to fly fish, so hopefully the two of us can get out and we can get some awesome footage there. But the other thing that pretty much is going on around the whole entire country is turkey season. So everyone's wondering, how do I get out there? How do I find turkeys? A lot of these videos that I'm going to be doing going through this summer are going to be based a little bit more towards newer hunters, just because I want to see that those guys get involved, and hopefully I can help them with some very raw, right out the gate type of knowledge that'll help them either get out and harvest a deer, possibly harvest a turkey, and something that can help somebody do something like that is going to just make this world a better place. It's going to get more people out there, more people are going to enjoy the outdoors, and it'll be more awesome stories that I get to hear about. So when it comes to finding turkeys, that's what this video is going to be about. So I'm going to try to give you a little bit of a rundown of what I would be looking for if I was you looking for turkeys. So by no means am I saying that I am the turkey expert. I am the Waddell of the East. Not the truth. But I have gotten better at turkey hunting over the years. I have some friends that are really good turkey hunters, and these are kind of the things that I've picked up on when it comes to scouting that I'm going to go and look for before turkey season starts. So first off, there's pretty much two ways that you're going to locate turkey. One is visually, and the second is vocally. And when I say vocally, I mean you're hearing those turkey. When it comes to the vocals, you're pretty much going to be getting closer to your hunting season when that comes into play. So for some people, that's going to be a little bit more beneficial because you might not have a lot of free time to scout months in advance or a month before season. You might just be scouting maybe the week up until season. Another point I want to make, this video is also applicable to people traveling, possibly, but I'm also hoping to help people out that are just trying to get out after turkeys in their own state. So I can't speak for every state, but when I show maps here, I'm going to do it from a different state. I live in New York, but I will not be using public land in New York. So I'm just looking at it as if I've never been there, and that's how I'm going to go after it. So you could apply this to turkey hunting out of state, but my hope is this will help people just get out and enjoy turkey hunting in their own state. So once again, when it comes to vocals, it's going to be getting closer to hunting season because that's when the birds are going to be gobbling and they're going to be making those vocals. So if you're going to be going out and listening for birds, I suggest you get to a place where you're going to be able to hear a lot. You don't want to be down in a bottom, because then you're going to lose out on stuff that might be on the other side of a ridge or something like that. So find a high point, get up on a high ridge. If you can find a ridge that actually looks like a turkey foot, so something like this, and you could be up in the knuckle of where all the points of the ridge come together, you'll be able to hear anything down those points on either side of possibly a main ridge. Another way I would describe it is ridges that look like Christmas trees. And when I say that is I mean, so you've got the one main ridge and you've got secondary ridges coming off of each side, kind of like the branches on a Christmas tree. And a lot of times they'll work their way back to an even bigger ridge somewhere else. But those are the kind of the two places that I like to look for. Main singular ridges will have birds, so I'm not saying to avoid that, but I feel like you're allowing for a lot better choice for the birds. Birds have different places they can roost, and based on what's growing in those areas, you might have one point of a ridge that's growing a lot of evergreen or hemlock or something, maybe just because it's on a certain face of the main ridge, where another side might have oaks and stuff, and they might like to roost in one versus the other in your area. So there's two ways you can go and look for birds when it comes to vocals. You can either be out early in the morning, just like if you're hunting, in hopes of hearing them gobbling on the roost and get an idea of where you want to be hunting because of that, or you can go in the afternoon and try to hear them when they fly up to the roost and gobble. Either or, when it comes to scouting, is going to be beneficial because it's going to give you the relative idea of where those birds are roosting, so that's always a good thing. The old saying is, roosted is roasted. Not always true, but it might get you in the ballpark when it comes to opening day. So this is a tactic I tend to use in more heavily wooded areas. Obviously hearing them is going to be a big plus no matter where you're hunting. But when then it comes to more farm country or areas that have fields, low-cut green fields and stuff like that, that's when I feel like you can cover a lot of ground visually. And the nice thing about this is if you get out of work, you don't necessarily have to get out and try to walk 5 miles through the woods. You can pick out the property that you're going to be hunting, and then you can drive around that, maybe mark some fields that might be on Onyx or Hunt Stand or whatever you might use, and then try to check out those fields. Birds could be out in those fields in the evenings, middle of the day, early in the morning, so you might be able to cover some ground different times of the day and be able to get a better idea of if there is or is not birds there. Now, just like anything, just because they're not there when you drive by doesn't mean that there are not birds there in general. So I would definitely push you to get out and walk the properties if you're feeling really good about them. Get in there. Turkey will scratch like you've seen in probably 100 other videos, but they'll scratch the ground looking for grubs. They'll eat old acorns, the ones that stayed a little bit fresher, didn't rot and stuff like that. So finding acorns and beech groves and things like that that have a little bit of mass crop that might have been left over from the fall before are always great areas to look. And then because of that leaf litter breaking down, there's normally some invertebrates, and just spring also has bugs hatching and all that kind of stuff. So those are great places to go look. I would definitely go look for scratching. That's also an important thing to keep an eye out for when you're going to listen for birds. Once again, if you don't see them, that doesn't mean they're not there. If you don't hear them, it doesn't mean they're not there. So try to bring all that stuff together when you're out scouting, because that's going to put you in the money when it comes to turkey season. And finally, the last point that I want to make in this video, if you find birds in one area and then it gets to season and there is no birds, and then those birds happen to be in an area that you saw no bird sign maybe earlier in the season, try to check back in with yourself and realize when you did your scouting. Scouting late winter, early spring can be really good because it gives you an idea of where birds are in general. Like if the property that you want to hunt has a lot of bird sign, it'd probably be a good starting point. But just remember, food sources change throughout the season. Birds are flocked up in the winter and then they bust up in the spring, and that's why you find singular or paired up gobblers in the spring when you're trying to hunt them. So just keep that in mind. Don't get down on yourself if a spot that you felt like was awesome in the middle of winter where you saw a bunch of birds out in the field ends up going cold come hunting season. So just be open to change, be open to keeping your options open, be open to kind of running a little bit more run and gun unless you have seen the birds very close to season. I understand how people like to sit in blinds or kind of hunker down. Nothing wrong with that, but I do run a little bit more run and gun, and for me it's just more fun that way because I like hearing the birds. I go through the very sedentary parts of deer season sitting in one spot. So when it comes to the spring and the snow melts and it's just fun to get out there, I want to run, I want a gun, I want to hear those birds gobble, I want to get right in their face. And if it works out, awesome. And if it doesn't, it is what it is. I got to get outdoors and enjoy the outdoors. So those are just some pointers I wanted to give some people. If you guys have any questions on what else you would like to hear, just drop it in the comment section. I am going to try to get out and do a scouting type of video out in the field in the hopes of hearing some birds, maybe seeing some birds, and kind of showing this little bit of stuff that I do. It's a little bit harder because I don't want to give away not so much the spots that I'm trying to hunt, but I try not to make it known where I'm looking at, just because I don't want to ruin it for other people. Those might be honey holes of other people, and I don't want to be that guy that ruins them for them, because I like bouncing around to a bunch of different state properties and federal properties in my home state. So I don't want to be that guy that makes a YouTube video and now a spot that had nobody has 1,000 people in it. And that was very well explained by the guys in the hunting public. I was never one to tell my spots because I was thinking I got to hide them from myself. But that was an even better point that made it more prevalent in my eyes that I need to be more aware of the things I'm doing and how much I'm showing, just to save it and keep it as a honey hole for people that it might be their spot. Some people don't like to move around, so that might be their only spot, and I don't want to ruin it for you guys. So sorry for being long-winded there, but If you liked any of this stuff, just give it a like. If you want to hear anything else, or you have things you want me to try to show you possibly in that next video, throw it in the comment section. Subscribe to this channel so you don't miss out on anything, and also check me out on Facebook at Hit Outdoors and Instagram at Hitting the Dream. Thank you as always, guys. I appreciate every single one of you, and as always, I can't wait to see you hit your mark. Later.